Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackle. With Election Day next month tonight, we start a series of debates to keep you, the voter, informed and to give you the chance to meet the candidates vying for key elected seats across this region. Tonight, we begin with what's becoming a heated race for New Orleans' first city court clerk. The primary responsibilities for the clerk of First City Court, handling evictions and all paperwork, as well as small claim court issues. That position was held for over a decade by Ellen Hazur, who was recently elected to a local judgeship. Two men are vying for that position, and both are here tonight. Both are Democrats. Austin Baddon, a former three-term state representative from New Orleans East. Baddon chaired the Education and Municipal Committees while serving in the legislature from 2004 through 2016. And Timothy David Ray, the current acting clerk of First City Court. Ray's an attorney, community activist, and former candidate for New Orleans City Council. Gentlemen, first off, thank you for being here. We are going to start with a brief opening statement. We're going to go alphabetically. So, Mr. Baddon, we're going to begin with you. You have 1 minute to make your argument. Tell voters why they should elect you.
Thanks, Travis. Good evening, everyone. I am Austin Baddon, number 54 for clerk of First City Court. I am a man of faith, happily married for 23 years. I am also a father of a great 7-year-old, and I am also a proud graduate of St. Augustine High School, the University of New Orleans, Troy State University, where I earned a master's degree in human resources management, where I know that position will be exemplified for the use of that degree in First City Court. I am also a 3-term legislator, having served you as a member of the House of Representatives for 12 years. I've served with distinction, honor, integrity, and fairness. I've been a leader on the court and off the court. Also, I've also worked very diligently in our community to help find people who have been missing. I have just been like you, where I saw families in the need, and I've also reached out to those families and went out. So for most of you probably remember that I went out and found missing teacher Carolyn Nanette, and then I also went out and found Ms. Jean Stokes out in New Orleans East a few years ago. So I humbly ask for your support on November 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Baddon. Mr. Ray, same thing. You have 1 minute to make an opening statement. Let the voters know why you're the best candidate, in your opinion, for this office.
Good evening, and thank you, Travers. My name is Timothy David Ray. I am your current clerk of First City Court. Born in New Orleans, I attended Yale University where I was a music major, music performance major. I also have a law degree from Loyola University College of Law here in New Orleans. I currently serve as the clerk of First City Court, where it's my duty to keep your very vital public records, your property records, as well as evictions and small claims. That's also true. As your clerk of First City Court, I have brought innovation to the office. I've built upon the foundation of my predecessor and helped to bring innovation to our office, to bring us up to the standards of our district courts around the parish of Orleans and Jefferson and St. Tammany as well. So it is my honor to serve as your clerk of First City Court, and hopefully tonight we will share more about my record and my vision with you tonight. Thank you.
All right, well, you're going to get the first question, Mr. Ray. You have 60 seconds to answer this question. The clerk's office is usually the first stop for people who are seeking evictions and filing smaller lawsuits. How do you make it more user-friendly, for not just lawyers, but for the average citizens? You have 1 minute to answer that question.
Good. It's a great question, Travers. What we do in First City Court with our evictions and small claims is that we don't always deal with the larger law firms. We do have a civil docket, a general civil docket, where we do actually deal with law firms and big attorneys. But in evictions and small claims, we actually help regular everyday citizens who find sometimes the legal process to be daunting and hard to navigate or intimidating and don't want to even come to court. And so we trained our staff in First City Court to actually walk people through filling out pleadings, filing pleadings. We tell them how the legal procedure works and what the time delays are when things they have to file and when they have to make appearances before the court. Additionally, with small claims, we actually walk people through some of the more complex legal processes like a judgment debtor rule. In other words, how do you get someone who owes you money, maybe a contractor or a neighbor, to actually pay? And so what we do is we speak 2 languages. I use my law degree to deal with the attorneys, but also to break it down to the regular everyday people who use our office. We have forms that are online on our website, orleanscdc.com, under the First City Court link. And you can fill out all the forms you need, and we help you in our office every day.
Mr. Baddon, same question. I'll repeat it. How do you make it more user-friendly for people filing smaller lawsuits that includes lawyers and the average citizens? You have 1 minute to answer that question.
First off, I want to make sure that everyone realizes that you do not have to be a lawyer for this position. It is not required. The majority of clerks in the 64 parishes of Louisiana are not lawyers. So technically, you cannot even give out legal advice. But this is a court for the small guy, the young guy, the guy that's just, or the lady that's just trying to get justice. Most people never go to Tulane and Broad. Most people are never sued or will be sued, but they are trying to get justice here. And this is what I, as the clerk of First City Court, will reach out to them and let them know that these services are there for them by going to the churches, utilizing stations like Channel 6 and making sure that they understand that this is a service for them. Utilizing other public elected officials to make sure that the word gets out and coming out to tell them. I believe this is a public safety issue. Just like the old saying goes, don't take the law into your hands, take them to court. Make sure that people who are in some kind of disagreement are taking them to court and trying to get justice within First City Court.
All right, we're going to start this question with you. There are lots of filing fees at First City Court. There are many. Will you do anything differently if elected? You have 60 seconds to answer that question as it pertains to filing fees.
Well, absolutely. I think, one of the first things is I am not going to plan on raising any fees. That is something that it is difficult to live in New Orleans right now. It's very expensive. I will not raise any filing fees. I will look at any of the fees that we have that are already in place and see if we could possibly reduce them to try to make it more accessible, to utilize my skills in customer service that I've acquired over the years, to reach out to people and let them know that this court is there for them, to raise the threshold for small claims and raise the threshold for civil cases, and also raise the threshold for the eviction process, because right now it's at $3,000. I will work in conjunction and in concert with the other 4 judges that are there to look at reducing any fees and also raising the threshold to make it more accessible and transparent to people.
All right, Mr. Ray, same question, 60 seconds. There are lots of fees at First City Court. Is there anything that you would do differently if elected? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you, Travers. Well, clerks actually don't have the authority to set fees or change or adjust fees for civil filings, especially in First City Court or any court for that matter in state court. And so it's important to know that that process is done through a couple of different agencies: the Supreme Court, certain Supreme Court committees, which will tell us, how to increase fees annually and where that money goes is sent to, as well as the judges en banc, meaning the judges who meet in both civil district court and First City Court, who help decide the fees. One of the things that's important to know is that First City Court, our filing fees are much less than the filing fees at civil district court. So where you would pay $504 to file a lawsuit in CDC, which is civil district court, you only pay $334 to file that in First City Court. Small claims fees or filings, that cost is $114. And evictions are $126. So all of this means that we actually have cheaper filing fees in First City Court, which is why we do our best to extend our services to the public. So.
All right, Mr. Ray, we're going to start with you. This issue deals with you. It's been a big topic during this debate. A brochure that you sent out as you are the First City Court acting clerk right now. Some of the judges scrutinized that. You defended the use of that brochure. We're going to have both of you gentlemen respond to this, but because it was your brochure, you have 60 seconds to talk about, was this the right thing to do and why you put this brochure out?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thank you for that question. So actually, I brought a copy of the brochures tonight in case this came up. This was the old brochure that we used to have in First City Court when I became the clerk. And as you see, it provides information for people who have to go through the process of filing a case in First City Court. What I did when I came in, we had to update it because the law had changed over the years. And so we updated the brochure that reflects additions to the law, changes to the law, and it clarified this. Something that we worked on with other attorneys who work for pro bono agencies as well as law clinics. And one of the things about it is the law changed and not everyone knew it. So I presented something to the judges that said, hey, this particular law for filing a motion for a new trial used to be 3 days for city courts. Well, in 2010, Conrad Appel passed a bill that changed that law to 7 days, which means now it's a 7-day period in which you can file a motion for a new trial. And so it was a simple thing that I think some of the parties were not aware of, But we have since worked it out, and they are aware of that now, and we have moved forward with running our office and working in concert together. So.
All right, thanks, Mr. Ray. Mr. Badon, you can weigh in on that issue. You have in the past. At one time, I believe you said that you questioned the legality of the brochure. Is that correct?
No, I didn't question the legality of it, but I will tell you it's short and sweet. That's not my mess. I didn't step into it, so I have no comment on it.
All right, Mr. Badon, this question is for you. A lot of people call this an obscure office, that a lot of people don't even know the clerk of First City Court exists. Should it exist? And why should it exist for First City Court? Why can't these procedures, or why can't these responsibilities be folded under the civil district clerk? You have 1 minute to answer that question.
Because they handle entirely two different sets of issues. And the clerk of civil district court handles the procedural aspect of First City Court. And so, you know, you have to have someone that handles the different litigants that come in, the fees, also the paperwork. That's exactly what the clerk does. The clerk manages a staff of about 25 people. And so, you know, my skill set best serves that because of my experience in customer service, my experience in Baton Rouge, my experience being a manager. And so I think that this is a unique position. The clerk of Second City Court over on the West Bank is Darren Lombard. He is not an attorney either. He does a fantastic job over there. They have the same issues that we have over here, but over on the East Bank, it is a much larger issue because we have more people over here. But we have to have someone that is going to outreach to people and let them know that First City Court exists, and they could utilize it to seek justice.
Same question, Mr. Ray. Some have called it an obscure office. Why, in your opinion, does First City Court and the clerk's position need to exist?
Yes. Well, it's not an obscure office. First City Court is actually a court of limited jurisdiction. In other words, we cannot hear or you cannot file every type of case in First City Court. So in civil district court and around the state, we have district courts, but we also have smaller concentrated courts that are called parish courts or city courts. And so First City Court, we deal with smaller civil lawsuits. $25,000 and less is usually what's going to be in dispute. We also deal with evictions. Those are not really handled in civil district court, but our eviction limit is $3,000 a month for rent. So that means that whether it's a home or a residence or a commercial property, that can also be done in First City Court. And so because of our specific or limited jurisdiction, we handle cases at a much faster rate, at a much lower, I guess, scale on a totem pole than you see in civil district court. I think the offices of city courts in general are important because, again, civil district court judges sometimes have longer dockets or trial dockets, which means if you had to file in the district court, it would take a lot longer to get justice in your case.
Really quickly, we have two more questions here. This one is a yes or no question. We'll start with you, Mr. Ray, and then go with you, Mr. Badon. Your attached constable runs a lot of off-duty paid details. Is that the best thing for the office? And if elected, would you encourage that to continue, yes or no?
Actually, I don't really know anything about the constable's details. This is kind of the first time hearing of it, so I don't know.
I would. I think that in this day and age when we have a lot of crime on the street, whenever we could put more officers on the street to ensure public safety, I think it is a very good thing.
All right, and final question here, a final wrap-up, I should say, because we are running out of time. I apologize. We're going to give you a chance to make a final statement here because we started with you, Mr. Badon. Mr. Ray, we'll start with you and finish with Mr. Badon. You have 30 seconds to make closing remarks.
Okay, well, again, thank you. My name is Timothy David Ray. I'm serving as your clerk of First City Court right now. And I think what comes up most about this election is qualifications and experience. While this office does not require you to be an attorney, you have a distinct advantage if you have an attorney as your clerk of court. I have practiced law. I've been to practice law before federal courts and state courts. I served as a law clerk for Judge Monique Burial in Civil District Court. I served for a brief while as the chief deputy clerk to Ellen Hazur before she became a judge. And so my experience in the office, my experience as an attorney sets me apart, and it's something that's going to be vital to the person who oversees the protection of your most vital records. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Badon, final 30-second closing remark.
Thank you, Travis. I am Austin Badon, number 54. Clerk for First City Court. I am humbly asking you for your support and your vote in early voting, which starts on October 23rd through the 30th, as well as on Tuesday, November 6th. I have served you with honor, dignity, respect, and fairness, as a three-term legislator in Baton Rouge. I'm doing this for my son. I lead by example, and I'm also doing this for the people of New Orleans because I want to make sure they have every opportunity to have justice and also to have access to this court and to provide good leadership for the people who work there. Thank you.
Austin Badon, Timothy David Ray, your candidates for clerk of First City Court in New Orleans. I'm